welcome back to Factorio. So quite a lot has happened since I last played, and we're going to walk you through a bit of it now. So Fulgora, whatever you call it. I've actually unlocked platforms now, so the next step is going to be sort of merging. I like Fulgora. I think if there's one place in the solar system that I'm going to make my home, it's here, because starting to dabble with quality, and it's incredibly easy. Like, I'm genuinely shocked how easy it is. We'll look at some of it today because I think this probably place here is the best place to do it. There's just huge amounts of resources. I mean, millions and millions of units of scrap. Plus, if you add the the efficiency mod, or rather benefit into that, which I think is pretty huge now. Where are we? Let's see, mining productivity 220%. That's pretty crazy. So there's like 60 something million. So over 100 million of scrap. It ain't going to disappear that quickly. Plus, it's just huge. This area is just vast. So yeah, I think Fulgora is where I'm going to make my base. But let's just go back to the ship. So the HMS Buttocks has changed beyond all recognition. This is because I needed a ship to take me to Aquilo. Am I saying that right? Yes, Aquilo. And Aquilo is kind of a good challenge here. We'll do a video on Aquilo because of that. That was, again, very, very challenging place. I've kind of done it now, so I will do a retrospective, I think, of it, because it would have... I don't want to be one of those channels that just shows you every single step I take. I think I like the idea of just showing you advancement. So, as you can see, the HMS Buttocks has changed significantly. Now, I've always been a big fan of Red Dwarf, and to me, this is the Red Dwarf. I actually do have a ship called Red Dwarf, which is here, which has now become my Aquilo hauler. The issue with this one is this is a poorly designed prototype. It didn't work. Well, it does work, but it's basically now just shuttling between the planets to keep Aquilo going, because you need to import a fair bit to Aquilo. It's undergunned, it's underpowered. It's been a bit of a pain in the bum, to be honest. So the HMS Buttocks, which is going to be renamed because obviously this is like the White Giant or something like that, or the Supernova, something like that. This to me is like the Mark II. Still loads wrong with it, but I'm learning. And I think there's some really kind of nice features, like the engines are now using advanced fuel production, so it produces a lot quicker. These little lights here are per percentage, so as fuel expends, these drop. So at a glance, I can quickly look at it and say, okay, we're full fuel. Same with water. So here I can see, 25, 50, 75, 100. How full are we on water? And you'll probably notice, eagle-eyed amongst you, that actually we now have quality now. So there's a lot of quality going on here. So we've got some legendary stuff. We've got some epic level stuff. It's just like night and day. I cannot stress do this. And I'll show you how I'm doing it in a moment. To me, it's the easiest way to do quality. Like, I'm surprised that more people aren't doing it this well. Maybe they are, I just didn't realize it. But so let's just head back to a Nauvis just to go and get, am I moving? Yes. So yeah, it's not quick. It's designed to be relatively slow. It's actually a ship that's designed to be moving constantly, because the idea is it's constantly getting resources. So that's kind of the plan. I wonder if we should go to Aquilo, actually. Maybe we do that. I have never actually taken the ship to Aquilo, but it's so overgunned now with things like legendary or epic level stuff. I mean, just look at the difference here. You've got sort of 4 and 5 arm grabbers. You've got turrets that actually outrange the laser turrets. So, this is just heaven. So definitely recommend legendary or at least epic level stuff on the ships, because it just seems to push everything that little bit further along, which is good, because I did find that the Red Dwarf was just struggling. Like, every single run it would run out of fuel and so on. As you can see, we're slowly going down on fuel as well, which is good. So we sort of can see, again, we're making it so quickly now. I don't think it's too much of even a challenge. I would even be surprised if we run out of fuel ever on this. As long as it's moving, as long as it's got iron, as long as it's got carbon, it seems that it basically can go forever and a day. But yeah, so there we go. So pretty well set up spaceship with lots of room for the things like railguns. There's lots more I know I need to do. Just so we know, the way I was doing it previously was importing ammo. Don't do that. Do it this way. Make the rockets and the ammo on the ship, because it just means you don't have to make them all self-sustainable. But look at that. That's crazy. I love the arm. More arms than Harrods when Fired was in charge. That's going to get probably banned, but there we go. It's an interesting step up because I've never really messed with the quality so far because I didn't know how. And I'll show you. We'll come down to Nauvis and have a quick look at what I've been building. I actually got the idea from a Reddit post. Again, I would stress if you play Factorio, do check Reddit, Factorio subreddit every so often because there's loads of great stuff in there. And for me, quality was always something I thought you had to kind of do a lot of nonsense with. Let's just drop to the planet. So just drop to Nauvis. And I honestly thought you had to spend ages making legendary level stuff. Well, it doesn't seem to work that way. And this is why I think maybe I misunderstood how quality works. So let me show you what we've been producing here on Nauvis. Obviously, this is the hub. So this is where everything's being made. I mean, you can see the spoiler here, right? You can see, look, we're already producing some pretty good stuff. Not huge quantities of it, as you can see, only a few really at the moment. It's taken quite a while to get to this point, but let me show you what we're doing. So down here we have two factories, so each little kind of H block. So this is one part of the factory, this is the other side of it. And if you wanted to, you could kind of have complementary things. So here we've got spaceship stuff, you know, arm grabbers and grinders, right? So the way it works is you make the normal grabber unit here. It then kind of wheedles its way around to this recycler here. It then gets recycled into here. So it is obviously very wasteful, but this is the perils of quality. And then over time, this, there you go, see? So we had then some, what do you call it, uncommon parts. You then also get common, or rather rare parts. We also, and again, the way it works is uncommon, so green, let's say green quality, then actually gets recycled again. So you see there, and then here we had just some same quality level, but you do often get something that's a rare quality, and then that steps up into, you know, epic, and then ultimately legendary. So you see here, I haven't put these in here. I literally have just inserted these. So everything's got quality modules except the legendary because you don't need them. What I'm working on at the moment is actually having legendary quality module 3s. That seems to be the big thing. So you see there, quality 2.5%. In total, what have we got? 10% on that. If I just skip over to this side, where we're making, you know, the quality modules here. This is a bit of a test. I don't think I even need to make level 1s, 2s and 3s, but we'll keep trying. You see here we've actually put in some of the legendary ones we've got, or not legendary, the higher quality ones that we've got. So this now is running at 11.6%, and it's really in the margins. You know, that's what you're working on, is basically trying to get something of a higher quality. But here, example, quality module 2 epic is 3.8%. Well, let's just compare that to a normal module, or rather a module 3. Does it show there? Yeah, 2.5%. So even a level 2 that's epic, or even, you know, what is this, rare, is C3.2. And what's that? So 2. So even that is better than a level 3 Tech 1, I want to say. You know, a normal tier 3, or rather, you know, whatever you call it, module 3. So basically that's it. That's how I'm working at the moment. So slowly upgrading all of these quality modules, because it does seem that you actually create quite good things from this. This is I'm genuinely surprised at how easy this has been. So that's what I'm doing at the moment, using train carriages to kind of hold everything. So everything is created. So here we go, turrets, for example. Creates, you know, turrets. They then go into the scrapper. The scrapper then has a chance to give you better quality, and that just seems to ramp up and ramp up. So probably 100 normal turrets might equal an epic or even a legendary one. I haven't actually got a legendary one yet, but I've had about 20 epic ones, which is pretty good. We've got obviously 17 rare ones, and you know, let's just show you this. So if I just go into here and just drop that in, it'll actually produce things from it. So you see here, we might even get some, you know, there you go, rares, there you go, perfect. Wonderful example. And I think that's it. As you know, I don't mind sort of running the game. I usually leave the game running as well. So that way you can kind of guarantee you're going to get some better things. So let's do the same here. So if we go and just scrap these, again, we run the risk of losing quite a lot, but again, look, you've got some epic level ones there. and then we sort of start to see this one go up. So overall, very, very pleased with how this has gone. I think the surprising nature of it has been just how easy this has been. And I'll give you an example. This was the first build I did. This was actually very similar to the one that I saw on Reddit. So we've already got, what, 34 substations. Let's just chop them up. Let's just put them in the... And you see here, we get some legendary stuff. So we've got, and then already one legendary. There we go. Oh, that already flew off. Let's just go grab it. Because I've got currently a sort of mid-station here just to pick them up. So if I just give you an example, let's just pick those two up. It's definitely worth doing. I'm just going to borrow this. So, you know, the area is 18, so 18 by 18. Epic level is 24 by 24, and this is 28 by 28. And that is huge difference. This to me is like, I want to just make hundreds of these. So if I then show that one, hopefully you can see that. Look at the difference there. Ooh, there we go. And then if we do legendary, you can see then that's even bigger. So totally worth it. And if you sort of take legendary as an example, it's almost double the size. So definitely worth doing. And just from a point of view, not everything, by the way, I'd point out. So some things are absolutely not worth doing. I have to try and get that back, otherwise it'll trigger me. Some things are just absolutely not worth doing. So I've learned that there's certain machines that just don't benefit from being, you know, leveled up in quality. Things like these poles. They're not great. They're kind of a bit further, but you see, you know, it's maybe a bigger supply area. I guess that's quite useful. It's not a massive difference in terms of you know, difference length, let's say. So, you know, it's kind of interesting. I've been quite impressed with it. I'm quite enjoying this so far. I think science-wise, we're doing good. As you can see, we've researched all the things in the game now, I believe. So everything left is basically the enhancements. But I haven't built most of them. So things like fusion reactors, all of that, still yet to do. I wanted to try and just make spaceships a bit more palatable. So you see, I've been trying to kind of get the ammo production, all of the various things that you want these things to do, to be automated. So you can basically just leave them and off they go. So it's things like here, you've got the grinders, you know, turning them into something a bit more useful. I don't even think we need this much space anymore, because even when we've got full belts of blue, oh, actually we need to make more belts, don't we? Because we're still using blue belts. So loads to do, but I think that's kind of my, you know, the fun of the game is really just sort of adapting, enhancing. I like this. This is going to be my mothership, I think. And I will rename it, but I'm not sure what to yet. But I do like that it's basically just something that will just grow and grow, and it'll probably become twice the floor space of this as well. But it's fun, I've got to admit. Oh, roboports, I bet they're good to do. Let's go and set that up really quickly. So roboports, I'm going to do them probably actually with the other blueprint. That one with the car doesn't work, I wouldn't recommend it. Let's do it with, here we go. So here we've got a blueprint ready to kind of adjust. So if we set roboports, I've no idea if this actually gives any benefit, but let's just do it. So let's just do it sequentially. So roboport green, roboport purple. Where are we? Oh my gosh. Roboport purple. You see, it's just basically, I probably should take some time and set this up properly. I think this was blue, and then this is legendary. And I don't really know the difference. Let's just have a quick look of what the difference is. So you can do this by going and pressing whatever this is, M. And you can just place down a legendary one. So here we can see 50 by 50, 110, and then this is, what is that, 50, 110. So it doesn't look as actually if there's any benefit doing that. Let's have a quick look. Does it consume less electricity? No, it seems to import more. So it'd be interesting to see what maybe the point of this one is. Yeah, I don't know. Construction, no construction. So maybe we don't set that one up. Good example. It was good, worth a check. But I think probably one thing we do want to set up is laser turrets. So let's do that instead. So we just set up laser blue, or rather green. We then set up laser epic. And it's just, I mean, you see how it works. It's very straightforward. Blue, and then finally epic legendary. There we go. And then you do have to set these as well. I know it's a bit of a faff. I think actually is a better way to do is filters. Probably set that up at some point, but for now, just to keep it all nice and tileable, we go. So almost done. Then we just set it to lasers. You don't have to change the quality. That's already set. Okay, so we then just go copy, paste, paste, and paste. And let's see what we get. And then, you know, they just make laser turrets. So these three items basically will be churned. And we see they'll kick in. You could use beacons as well. I was thinking about beacons. I'm only using long arm inserters here just because I had a bit of trouble with the train position. I think if I just spent a bit more time and did it properly, it would actually be fine. But let's have a look. Eventually it makes some stuff. It takes a while. But you've got to do the quality one. That's important, it seems. And there we go. So we've got a little couple of them going in there. And then the idea is you just roll the dice and hopefully get some quality bits. Now this has been quite a challenge actually, because if I go to here, this is making accumulators. This has taken an awful long time and I've never had a legendary one yet. So I would say that's probably just something to bear in mind, is that it does seem that the build time is slow. Therefore the time to get legendary stuff is slow. So for example, inserters, you make them instantly. I've got 12 legendaries already and God knows how many of those. So, I mean, this is a good example. Let's just go and do that. So if I wish to, we can actually speed up the process a tiny bit. I'm just going to do a bit of a live test as we do this, because I don't really want legendary inserters. So let's just take those. And we're going to actually put them into the laser recycler, because that then will produce components that the lasers can use. Here we go. So if I just bung, well, let's do these first. So hopefully gives us something of use. Now we can't, I don't think we can use the sprockets, but I think it does give us, yeah, it does give us some of the useful bits. So hopefully here, yes, so we can start to see some of the bits coming through. So you can be a bit smart. So you see here we've got some legendaries. I kind of think what uses bolts and plates. Here we go. So we've got these ones. So if I just put those into there we go. So that's been useful. So it's a bit of fun, but you have to sort of take your time. So there we've got another one. So we've got legendary plate. That's brilliant. And what have we got left? So I think with these we'll just bung them in maybe here, because I think it'd be useful. So there we go. And we just recycle them. And we're a step closer to some more legendary stuff. So, you know, I've got to admit, I'm quite impressed. I think there's probably something to be said about building something like 10 of these ARM producers, because they produce legendaries so quickly. You could then even just recycle components in that as well. But hey, something to think about. So overall, I would say things are going well. We're going to look, I think, next time probably at Aquilo, just a quick sneak peek. I won't show you too much. This, again, it seemed a challenging, tricky place. I've got to admit, it's turned into something actually that's been quite easy. I've been surprised Aquilo actually is relatively easy. Once you figure out this mechanic here of keeping things warm, it's fine. And I do really want to expand Fulgora, because to me, this is such an interesting problem to solve, which is, you know, endless sort of scrap recycling. I'm really, really excited for it, and I've got my one bit of legendary stone, so I've practically won the game. But we've got loads to build, railgun turrets, things like that, so still lots to do. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you next time.